Alright, my name is Hiram Shelton. This is actually my third time making this video because the first two didn't work. When I was trying to upload the video the first time, it didn't save, so then I did it a second time and it allowed me to submit it, but obviously it was still uploading and you never actually got to see it. It's been like a week, so I kind of forgot what I said and spoke about, so I kind of had to redo this. But I'm just gonna upload this to YouTube. That way you can actually see it, and there's no issues. But the social movement I researched was the battered women's movement. It started in the early 1970s, and really it is traced back to it's just traced back to the broader women's rights movements that started in like the 1960s. But before the battered women's movement, domestic violence was really just seen as like a private matter or like a personal family matter, and legal action didn't take place, and there was no real voice for women and victims that really needed help. So the early pioneers, as strange as it is, Erin Pizzey was like the real pioneer, but she was not from America. But that's really when the movement started and got traction. Was that in 1971 she opened the first women's shelter that was specifically for women who suffered from domestic violence. And that really it was around that same time that America picked up on that and also started making a lot of great progress. There were several U.S. activists. It really was people that it was women who struggled in their own marriages and faced actual domestic abuse, who were the leaders of this organization. I think that means a lot for the movement. I think that gained a lot of attention for the movement. Just having people that really could tell their stories and stand together. I think that's a very difficult thing, to be so vulnerable, but also be pushing for something while being vulnerable. I think it's a really inspiring thing. Let's see here. Did I cover? So the impact that this movement had. There's been several legislative impacts from the battered women's movement. They've worked to get the Violence Against Women Act of 1994 passed. And then there's also been a lot of cultural awareness. Things are far different now than they were in the 1960s. Just understanding how to treat victims of domestic abuse, and understanding that they're actually victims, and that they actually need to be seen as people, rather than just having it be like a family matter and kind of hush hush, and not really seeing the problem of an unhealthy marriage. It's also been one of the main impacts has been survivor-centered services. So now there's legal help, trauma counseling, emergency shelters, long-term housing that are all available for victims of domestic abuse. And then also the global influence. The battered women's movement is like a global movement, not just specifically for women in the U.S., but it is it's global. And so just helping women and I guess all victims, but especially women, since they are most of the victims, by a lot. They are mostly They are the victims of domestic abuse, and just having that become a worldwide, a global movement has been a big part of the battered women's goal, and they've really accomplished this. And yeah, thanks for watching.